Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. So this is going to be the first episode of my editing series. I don't know what the series is going to be named, but I'll figure that out in a couple of weeks. And today we're going to talk about halos and, to be exact, how to remove them. So let's go. Before I get started with this little tutorial, I just want to thank everyone who has already subscribed to my channel. And if you're not yet subscribed, hit the notification and subscribe button, and you will always know when the next video, vlog, tutorial or whatever is uploaded by me. In short, I'm starting a new series on this channel which will be more about techniques, tips and tricks of editing your landscape images more than vlogging. So I'll find fixes for you, I'll try to teach you how to avoid certain problems when editing and so on. And if you want to know something, or if you have a problem of your own when editing your images, write me up in the comments and I'll try to help you out, or I'll just make an episode about the problem. But today we're gonna talk about halos and edge fringing and why does it appear. So why do halos come into our images? There are a couple of reasons. So firstly, the main reason usually is when you replace the sky, or you have a bad selection on the sky and you underexpose it or pull down the highlights or do something else with it, and then you have like 1 pixel line running through the reach of an image, and then it's just the one line is not getting the editing that you want. And then it can be bright, it can be dark, it can be anything in between, and it will make your images have halos. Another thing is when you replace skies, or you stack images, or you do exposure blending, for example, and all the images are not aligned perfectly, then it can happen because one of the images can be like 1 or 2 pixels off alignment with the others. And the biggest reason of them all, I think, is heavy handling your sliders in Lightroom, in Camera Raw, in Capture One, doesn't really matter. But usually the halos come after you push the highlights all the way to the left and shadows all the way to the right. I know it's tempting to get all the dynamic range out of your raw file, but it will introduce halos into the image if you have like a contrasty scene, like with light sky and dark rock and something similar to this, as you can see here. So if I reset them, the problem is not so pronounced, but if I do it, you can see there is a clear line of a dark line and a light line going through the edge of this mountain ridge. So, and the problem only goes worse if you add like clarity into the mix and maybe dehaze and texture, and it just goes worse from there. So usually if you have halos, the first thing is to get rid of it and then start editing your image, because every step you make after that, you will make the problem worse. Alright, but as we can fix this thing in Lightroom, let's just go to Photoshop now. So I have 3 images pulled up here in Photoshop already, and all 3 of them have a haloing problem, as you can see on the screen at the moment. And this one is actually really bad because it has a bright or light halo and it has a dark halo. So this blending has gone pretty badly, and I kind of see the same thing in this image. Yep, there's a really dark edge here and a really light edge here also. And on the third image, which is in Tenerife, I think it's kind of the same. So I think a couple of years ago when these images were taken I had some editing problems. But yeah, let's try to fix those. Let's start, for example, with this image from Iceland. And yeah, there's like too much contrast and too much sharpening can introduce halos and some other thing also. So, but let's get started with the first image. I didn't want to start in Lightroom just because you can't fix this problem in Lightroom. I have tried with the adjustment brush, but you need a lot of nerve to do it that way and a lot of free time. So I came to Photoshop because in Photoshop there's actually a really simple solution for it. But I'll firstly show you how not to do it. I've seen a couple of people try to do it with a paintbrush, and actually there's a couple of videos in YouTube about that one also. And if I just make a new layer at the moment, I take my paintbrush, I really zoom into this problematic area, sample color of the sky, like a couple of pixels off from this, and just start painting. You could probably do it. You would need a lot of time and you would need to fix a lot of things here, because firstly you would just paint it over, and secondly you would lose the texture of the actual rock that you are painting over. It's rock, it's our volcanic rock in Iceland. So it doesn't fix an issue if I want to print this image or show it on a big screen somewhere. So for me that solution is not an option, and you still can see kind of the repair area here, because you need to make it correctly, you need to like sample every 5 to 10 pixels depending on the camera you use. So the second option is, let me make a new layer first here, is to use the clone stamp tool. But that has the same problem, because now you will have a better selection and better color, and you don't need to sample the colors every like a couple of centimeters of the image. Now you can just sample an image and just paint it over. But that has the same general problem, that you will kill all the texture of the rock here. So you can do it like this and it will in the end look kind of okay, but it's not perfect, and it's not what I want, because I want to keep all the texture that is in the image and don't want to paint over anything. So I do it a bit differently. I actually learned this technique from Sean Baxter some years ago, who is an amazing photographer, and he also develops the DK Actions panel with Tony Kuiper, which is I think the best luminosity masks panel of them all at the moment. But I will probably talk about luminosity masks and the possibility of them on another episode. But coming back to this image, the way I now do it is I make a new layer. I immediately put the layer on darken mode, and then I select my clone stamp tool and I make a selection on the sky here. And now when I start painting over the halo, the only thing that I will be painting over is the bright halo. I can't erase anything else. And the reason why it happens like this is that my layer is on darken mode, and as I sample the sky is brighter than the rock and the dark edge here, and it will avoid those areas. It will just paint over anything that is brighter than the sampling pixel or sampling location. So let's try to fix this image with this technique really fast. And the good thing is that it's really fast and you will not lose any detail of your valuable images. So, and you don't need to be so precise as with like painting or just clone stamping this out. Yeah, you can still do stupid things like this, but try to avoid painting over the ground with the sample location. So yeah, let's go through here. A couple of more places. I will not do the whole image because that's boring for you to see, but I think you get the gist. So if you look at it now, it looks like this. This is before, this is after. But here the only problem is not the light halos and edge fringing, it's also a dark halo on the edge. So it's just bad editing and really rough editing in my part a couple of years ago. So let's try to fix it. So the fix for that is kind of similar to the light halos. You just make a new layer. You put the layer to lighten mode, not in darken mode. And now you just try to zoom in. For some reason my zoom doesn't work at the moment. Yeah, now it works again. You zoom in, you take your clone stamp tool, but now you will select the actual rock. Because we are at lighten mode, we will only clone stamp over things that are darker than our selection. Because the sky is brighter and everything else here is brighter, it will only paint over the ugly black stripe here. So let's try it out. How does it work? So as you can see, it works out perfectly and it will remove the problematic area really fast. You need to be a bit more precise here, because if you paint over the sky with the sample image, you can put in some artifacts there, but otherwise it's kind of the same and you can use whatever part of the rock you want. But I usually take the closest thing I can find to the actual edge fringe and try to fix it that way. Then it looks the most natural in the end. So let's try to finish this up. And yeah, I'm doing a sloppy job now, but I think you can see what the difference is. So let's finish to the same location we did with the light mask, and then we'll see what the results are and has it helped or not. And by the way, if you have any ideas for the future episodes, write me up in the comments and I'll try to make sure to read everything and answer your questions if you have any. Alright, so let's zoom out and look what we have done at the moment. So this is the original image with the halos. This is the layer 1 where we removed the light halos. So the light halos are gone, and this is layer 2 where we removed the dark halos. So now it looks totally natural. There are no halos and fringes bugging me, and I think I'm pretty pleased with this result. So this is my technique. It will probably work exactly the same on this image or on this image. We can try it really fast. Let's just make a new layer, put it on darken mode, take our clone stamp tool, sample the sky from really close to it, from somewhere here, and let's try to paint over it. Yep, and it works out perfectly. So here we don't have that much of a dark edge problem as we had with the previous image. But yeah, I think we probably need to remove the dark edge here also. It's getting worse. And as you can see, it's mostly a contrast problem, because here where the rock is already a lot lighter, you can't see this kind of a halo effect anymore. But that's it for this tutorial. I hope you liked it and I hope you find it useful. If you have any ideas for future episodes on what subjects to talk about and what you want to know, just write me up in the comments. I will read the comments, and if I can, I'll help you personally, and if I can't, I'll try to do an episode about it in the future. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you for being here. And if you're not subscribed yet, don't forget to hit the subscribe and notification button to get notified when the next video or vlog or whatever is uploaded on this channel. So yeah, enjoy the end of your weekend, and I'll see you next week.